Hi and welcome along. I'm Vanessa from Being Yoga. This is a 30-minute wrist-free flow. So you can start with the feet hip-width apart and parallel and in the center of your mat. Bring the hands together into Namaste and circling the arms around. Inhale to take the arms up and exhaling down into a chair pose. And just continuing on like this. So wrist free. This is a beautiful suggestion through the comments from one of my followers. So anytime you have some great ideas for a class, please just pop them in the comments below. Connecting in maybe a slightly slower breath so that you can descend a little more. And then this time let's add in the twist. So exhaling and twisting off to the right side and inhaling up. So I'll be mirroring you for this. You might be best to have the mat the same way as me, following along. Inhale to take the arms up and exhale to interlace behind the back of the body, reaching the knuckles back and lift and open through the chest. And then releasing the hands into Namaste. You can then either step, or if you're feeling jumpy, you can jump your feet out, kind of Iyengar style. And let's turn that right foot all the way out and come into a Veerabhadrasana too. So again, just flowing with the breath. Inhale and straightening through the front leg, bring the palms to touch. Exhale and like landing in a bed of feathers, settle into Vira 2. Inhaling up and exhaling. Sinking down, inhaling one more time and exhaling, this time holding the Vira 2 and doing a dancing warrior. So inhale into a reverse warrior, maybe bringing that left arm across, and exhale into Parsvakonasana, maybe elbow to knee, maybe arm across the body. So this is more of a intermediate class, getting straight into it. Inhaling and exhale. And one last time, pardon, we inhale into this reverse warrior and exhale, Parsvakonasana. Then bring that left arm in front of the face, hands onto the thighs, turning both sets of toes out and sinking into a Malasana or goddess type position, and just dipping the right shoulder in, looking over the left and coming back through center and over to the other side. Bit of a shoulder opening. Press through the feet. You may need a block for a few of these poses. Just see how you go. Let's then turn off to the left side. So I guess these are flowing movement and breath connecting. This is the essence of Vinyasa, connecting movement and breath together. Inhaling to take the arms up and exhaling, settling in. Again, with that sense of landing softly. And then this time as you land, staying in position here, inhale into a reverse warrior, keeping a nice deep bend in that left knee. And exhale, maybe elbow to knee, maybe arm across the body. So flowing like this, inhale. And exhaling. Treating this as a bit of a warm-up flow. It's doing the job for me. And exhaling. Nice. Okay, you can inhale and come all the way up through center. Parallel the feet this time and exhaling, folding yourself forward and down. Maybe catching hold behind the ankles and drawing yourself in. Take an inhale to lengthen through the spine. And exhale, maybe folding into that space in between the legs as best you can. And then let's begin our standing flow. So pivoting yourself around to the right foot. And make sure that you start in this nice long lunge, so full stride, maybe whole length of the mat, depending on your leg length. And inhaling to come up into a crescent position. So you can then exhale and interlace the fingers behind the back of the body, reaching the knuckles back. I like to, as the knuckles reach back, think of brightening through the back leg. And then send the breastbone forward. So like a double-headed arrow, the arms are reaching back and the heart is reaching forward. And then tipping yourself forward, bend into the back knee, launching forward and finding Veerabhadrasana 3. Feel free to have the hands on the floor. Continue to brighten through the back leg and stretch back through the arms and forward through the heart again. And then releasing, stepping back, finding your crescent position again. Bring the right hand onto the right thigh and let's take this twisting position. So exhaling and twisting across the body, and we'll do this 3 times. So inhale, stay strong through the back leg, keeping a little morsel of awareness, this universal awareness through the whole of the body. And then settling into this namaste shape. Rotating the chest around a little more and sending that outer right hip back to the back of the room. So if you can, then stepping forward and into a revolved chair pose. So you can go ahead and let that left knee come forward. The hips don't have to be level, the knees don't have to be touching. It's better for the sacroiliac health, and by all means, check the video on that one, on twisting rules. Okay, you can then inhale and come on up. Step the feet to hip width apart and exhaling again, interlacing the fingers behind the back of the body. Take an inhale to lift and open through the chest. And then transferring the weight onto the right foot, reach back for the left foot, heel to the buttock. And taking Natarajasana, dancer pose. So feel free to stay here. I actually stretch the right arm up, and rather than tipping forward, think about the right side of the body staying long as you kick that foot back. Stay more lifted, more upright here. And then from here, bend into the standing leg, stepping back, short stance, and coming into this pyramid type position. So your block might be handy about now. I'm wishing I had a block as we come towards a revolved triangle pose. So take an inhale, finding equal weight through the feet and making sure the back toes aren't turning out. Pivot them forward so that this left hip can come forward. And then exhaling the left hand down onto the floor and rotating the ribs to the sky. As you inhale, add in a tiny little cobra through the upper back, so you're creating this opening and lengthening out while still keeping the back heel firm on the floor. Give it one last breath here. And then sending the right arm forward and switching the hands over to the other leg. So you've got the hands either to the inside of that left foot, and now you're finding yourself in this Veerabhadrasana shape, Parsvakonasana, maybe a lower version. If you need to stay up higher, that's totally fine, but you could even come into the bind here if you wanted to. So either stay here or even triangle pose. Otherwise, you can come with me and come into Ardha Chandrasana. So launching through the back leg, finding your half moon, and then optional, maybe this sugarcane pose, catching hold of the back foot and spinning the chest open to the sky. So if you're feeling really solid in your balance, then you could by all means look up. Otherwise, stay looking down to help your balance. Remember, a block here could be helpful too. So then from here, let's release and plant the hands, stepping all the way back so that we are ready for our second side. You can take the back knee to the floor and let's rock forward and back a few times. Inhaling and taking the arms up if you wanted. Exhale to rock back. And we'll get ready for that whole flow on the second side. So take one last inhale here to lift. And then exhale to frame the front foot. Straightening through the back leg and inhaling to take the arms up into this crescent shape. Exhale, interlace behind the back of the body, reach the knuckles back, lift and open through the chest. And again, feel for chest moving forward, arms reaching back. And that it is almost like a mirror for that back leg as well, even like train tracks, two train tracks parallel to each other. So then transferring and launching forward. Goodness. Really getting up close with this plant here. A little bit of tone through the belly, more brightness through the back leg. Give it one last breath, doing your best to square the hips. And then releasing to find your crescent position again. Left hand, left thigh. And then 3 times exhale across and into the twist. Inhaling to luxuriate in the opening and exhale across the body. And one last time. Coming across and going namaste, hands here. A little bit of tone through the belly to stay lifted rather than collapsing down. And then if you're able to, stepping straight forward into a revolved chair position. Again, it's okay that the knees aren't touching and the hips are not level. In fact, it's better for your sacroiliac like that. And then inhaling and coming on up, I step the feet apart again. You can interlace behind the back of the body, reaching the knuckles back and lift and open through the chest. And then releasing and bringing your right heel to the buttock. Remember this left arm going more vertical rather than forward, and in fact your whole body, just that real quality of ascension, reaching and lifting rather than dipping down maybe into our more mundane or animal instincts, continuing to rise up, to reach up, even through our yoga practice. Then you can step back, short stance. So you might like to have a block here as we come towards a revolved triangle pose, opening the arms out. Hips can be your feet can be hip width apart, but try and do make sure that this right toes are facing forward as much as possible. And then opening the arms out and coming down into your revolved triangle position. Again, adding in that little bit of opening through the front body and sending the outer left hip back to the back of the room. Well, it's now the front of the room. Who knows? Away from the hip, away from the torso. Give it one last breath here, lengthen and open. And then sending the arm over, hands to the inside and switching into your Vira2 shape with the legs in your Parsvakonasana position, whether it's here, lateral angle, or down lower. You could even remember to do the bind there. And utilize the breath. Feel with every inhalation, just getting longer, lighter. And every exhalation, perhaps that little bit of letting go. And then you can release the hand onto the hip, coming and launching yourself into Ardha Chandrasana, or not. Feel free to stay as you were. Perhaps reaching to catch hold of the back foot if you're able to. Some of you might even like to hover the hand there, kicking the foot back, opening through the chest. I loved putting this little sequence together. If you enjoy our sequencing, do check the Being Yoga website. We've got lots of online courses and trainings as well. Okay, you can release and step back. Take the back knee onto the floor and just rocking forward and back a few times. Inhale to open. Exhale to rock back. Maybe if it's okay for you, adding in the arms. Inhale and exhale. And one last one. You can then come forward a little so that you can bring that right leg back and find a kneeling position while we do a few back bends here. We haven't been able to do cobra, but let's just work in Camel Pose for a moment. So hands come onto the buttocks and encouraging like a scoop with the tail, but not like you're trying to press the hips forward. Think about instead thigh bones moving back and then bursting through the chest to open and create a lengthening there. Take the hands and interlace them behind the body, reach the knuckles back, and again bursting and lifting through the chest. If it's okay for your neck, relaxing it back, otherwise staying more forward. And by all means, if you wanted to, if you're able to, your wrists are okay, coming into this full expression of camel. Taking care of your body, and then releasing and folding down into your child's pose for a moment. Let's continue with the back bends with a little bridge pose. So sliding one arm under and coming to lay down onto your back. And take the hands If you can, reaching down to touch the heels, inhale and lift the hips up to interlace behind the back of the body, or if they don't reach, no problem. Focus more on the legs, so especially the inner heel pressing down and the hips lifting up. Think about the chest lifting up to the chin rather than chin into the chest. And again, I've got a whole video on that as well. So many, if you check out the Yoga Pose 101 playlist, lots of little tips from our teacher training. You can then release the arms out into a T position. Bring the hips over to the right side and then the knees over to the left for a little momentary twist. Imagining the breath washing through the body, clearing any obstruction, both with the inhale and the exhale. And then switching over to the other side. So move the hips over to the left and the knees to the right. Feeling like nothing more need be done, that you're on the home stretch and that you can give yourself a few moments in Shavasana to really savor the opening, savor the softening. Allow a greater awakening of presence. And what unfolds from this presence? Maybe it's a peacefulness, ease, freedom, lightness. Maybe there's an emotion like joy or happiness. Just see what blossoms from the yoga practice. Giving yourself just a few more moments here in Shavasana. I thank you for your practice. I wish you well. Blessings of peace and gratitude.